The football here to begin the second quarter as they've got it with a 1st and 10. Here's a handoff to Swift running left, and he'll work this forward for about 3 at 2nd down. Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Here's a handoff to Swift. And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
The 22 is the line to gain here on 3rd down. Out of the gun, Griffin. Right side, it's the tight end, Hockenson. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on 3rd down.
One of the toughest things about playing quarterback is staying in the pocket, all that going on around you, and not letting your eyes go down to where the pass rush is. Instead, keeping them downfield. And that time he did and found his tight end for a 1st down.
On 1st and 10, it's Swift. And they'll go backwards here, losing yardage to the 14. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
Well, that was not what you would call straight line pursuit for a middle linebacker to make this play. He's got to work his way through the clutter to get to the ball carrier on the outside, and he does exactly that. That's called avoiding the trash.
Right back to Swift again on 2nd down. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down. So from 2nd and long, now we go to 3rd and very manageable.
Yeah, they love that phrase, don't they? Because as an offensive coordinator, you can keep people a little bit off balance in guessing because you don't have to throw it. You can come back with a strong run game if you want to. And if you're in 4-down territory, that really opens things up for you.
4th down now after a loss of 2. And his kick is good. And the Lions are going to take a 3-0 lead. So still no touchdowns in the first half, but we do have some action on the scoreboard with the field goal.
So maybe now the mentality changes in this game because anytime you can get to the red zone and if you don't come away with 6 points, you feel like it's a disappointment. In a game like this one, being able to kick field goals means you're right there, and then you're just looking for that big break to take you over the top.
About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. They fumbled the last time they had the football. Fortunate that it only led to a field goal. 3-0 the score as they start 1st and 10. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. First play of the drive going for 14 and also going for a 1st down. Now a give right side. Patterson. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the 1st down run. He gets maybe 3.
Not a lot of running room there. Not a place to make a cut and kind of exit out because they had everything bottled up. Looked to me like the linemen were taking on their blocks really well and giving up no creases.
On 2nd and 7, Ryan. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
My first thought is surprise because that's one of the better tight ends around, and I've seen him pull in balls like this before. But how about a little credit to the defense forcing that incompletion?
On 3rd down, Ryan. Man open, that's Calvin Ridley. And he is going to have a Falcons 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. 1st down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
Call that a very strong gain of 24. So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. They run with Patterson. And he'll get maybe a couple before he's taken down, as that will take us to the 2-minute warning. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8. From the 16, Ryan. He's down inside the 10 to the 8, and it comes on a gain of 8.
Well, this offense will definitely utilize him as a weapon out of the backfield because he was close to 100 yards receiving a week ago. So they will try to get him the football in space, as they did right there.
This will be play number 7 on the drive. 3rd and a yard. Oh, they go with a tight end carry. And he gets the first down yardage he needs before he's brought down at the 6. Patterson on the draw play. And he'll get blown up behind the line of scrimmage. Back at the 6. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. A shotgun handoff to Patterson. Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. The Lions now going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes 3rd and goal. And down he goes. Pressure gets him back at the 14. The Lions quickly now going to use the last of their timeouts. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. And his kick here is good. And that will tie us at 3-3. They had it 1st and goal, 3 attempts, couldn't get it in, so they settle for 3.
Yeah, the field tends to shrink a little bit the closer you get to the goal line, doesn't it? It doesn't sound right. It sounds a little counterintuitive. But you run out of space to run the deep routes, so they can just sit on the shorter stuff if you're going to throw it. If you want to run it, there's just not as much space. They end up having to take 3 there.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Tie ball game, still a little more than a minute to go in the half. The question, can they put something together here, try to take that lead into intermission? Try to get it to Williams, but it's intercepted. Picked up by Richie Grant. And he brings it back to right around the 26-yard line.
You can easily see the logic. It's a tie game. They just wanted to press it a little bit right before the half, hoping to get one more score.
Now, easy to second-guess the result, but now you have to think after that interception, just a field goal, and they're behind at the break.
Yeah, I think at the half, the head coach just says, look, that's on me. I wanted to press it, but it's because I believe in you guys.
And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. It's a gain of 13 and a first down for Atlanta.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
Now a throw to the end zone on first down, but it winds up incomplete.
That was a touchdown if he could have hung on. Instead, it was a well-timed collision to jar that one free.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Ryan. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts, as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1. Ryan will throw again. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. The Falcons going to use the 2nd of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. And his kick is good. And they will take the lead here in this battle of field goals at 6-3. So the turnover leads to points as they add 3 there.
Yeah, what a sequence there, and a nice one for them. They force the interception, put together a little drive, and then come away with 3 points. Nothing to it, partner. Just do it.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And they've got less than 30 seconds to go here, so not a lot of time to work with. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. Foyesade Oluwakan made the tackle there from his safety position. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. And he'll push forward here for a good little run as the clock continues to run. So if you like field goals, this is your game. 6-3, 3 field goals at the break. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. Okay, Coach. Yeah, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. It'll be Lions football to start the second half, and they trail here as we get back underway on EA Sports. And Ballantyne going to sit on this one. That'll be a touchback. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And they do trail, but they have a chance to possess the football first to try and do something about it.
And that certainly makes it something of an important drive for them, because is it going to win the game? No, but you have to do something to bring some life to your sideline.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty. From the shotgun, Griffin. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some sense of continuity and be able to make some of these plays that they have not been doing so far.
Flushed out right. Now look out, Griffin hit, and he lost the football. It's loose. We talk a lot about setting the tone to start the game. Well, you want to start the tone right in the third quarter as well, and nearly lost a football there in their first drive.
And sometimes we overdo it when we talk about halftime adjustments and what teams are going to do. Most of the time, it's just a matter of executing the game plan you brought in. But I'll guarantee you, if they didn't draw that play up on the whiteboard at halftime, they're fortunate to retain possession.
On 3rd down, Griffin. And this one taken in by Cephas. And he is going to have a Lions first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
That's a play that will likely be forgotten when you talk about big moments in this game. But plays like this are critical to keep drives going. And if points result, we'll call this play significant.
And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. Grady Jarrett with the tackle. And he got off the end there very quickly to make that play.
Yeah, it was almost like the bullet train, wasn't it? I mean, just zoom. Quick, quick, quick. And what a terrific play, holding them to no gain.
They go play action. Griffin. They'll get this into the hands of Hodge. And he'll be out of bounds up near the 45 at the 44. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down. They'll try and run here with Swift. And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. Just a gain of 2 there, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. Here comes the Lions punter now. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. He only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. Officially just 27 yards there on the punt. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. The Atlanta offense out there for their next drive. Their defense has done the job. Now it's the offense's turn as they've got it 1st and 10. They will get 4 yards here on the 1st down run, and that'll make it 2nd and 6. Well, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe it'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game. I know I spent a lot of time talking about how tight ends in a lot of cases now are pumped up wide receivers, but they're still big people. He used that frame right there to absorb a really big hit on him and held on to the ball.
On first down, it's Patterson, and he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Here's a throw to his running back. It's complete. And they'll work this down to the 40-yard line. Tackled there. The catch and run there, good for 16 and a first.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10, right at the 40. Here's a run on first down that won't even get back to the line of scrimmage. He will lose a yard. 2nd and 11.
This defense is just flat getting after it. They have not given up much of anything in the run game. Case in point right there.
So after the loss of a yard, they'll look to push forward here on 2nd down and 11. Now it's Ryan. He's got his pass-catching tight end. That's Pitts. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. 50 catches for him now on the year. He's got a first down.
Now what we're seeing, this is much better from this offense because so far in this game, no touchdown to this point. And what's usually a direct correlation? Very few explosive plays. That's been their issue. Not able to make that big shot downfield or break one off, but a nice game there for a first down.
And he'll manage to pick up about 4 at 2nd down.
Well, the end of all that hitting and hollering, it was a 4-yard run, so the offense is going to go back to huddle and feel pretty good about themselves. Defensively, you have to feel okay because you didn't let it turn into a bigger run, but the goal, shut it down for 2 yards or less. That's when you start to feel good about yourselves.
From the 24, Ryan. Under pressure, and he'll go down. Sacked back at the 31. Olivier Vernon make that now 8 sacks for him on the season. So the sack pushes him back, and now 3rd and long for Ryan and the Falcons. Now it's Ryan. He wants it all for the end zone. And that will be taken in by Ridley for a Falcon touchdown. Calvin Ridley hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And the Falcons are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this third quarter. Extra point by Koo, up and good. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. Following the touchdown, here's Koo to kick off. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Now Griffin. He's going to get that to Swift underneath. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. That'll be a pickup of 10 as they try to recover from this 10-point deficit.
This possession means so much for them. They've got to focus on this drive and find a way to make this a one-possession game.
Yes.
Got to get a score.
Yeah, so good with a field goal. Don't necessarily need a touchdown. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. play action. It's Griffin. He'll rifle this one deep right side. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Deron Harmon. And the Falcons are going to take over at their own 28-yard line. And that pretty much has been the storyline, Charles. This defense, they seem to be one step ahead from the start of the game until now.
And you identified it perfectly, and we can see the frustration that's settling in now. And it's probably been there for a long time, but now it's evident because you can see it in their faces, you can see it in their body language, maybe even a little bit in that play call that ended up maybe closing them out.
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. Running the jet sweep with Ridley. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
Well, we've seen running backs in today's NFL get involved in the passing game. Maybe it's about time more receivers like that get involved in the running game.
And that is something we are seeing more and more in this league, no question about it. That wasn't the biggest of gains, but it's enough to get them a first down. And it continues to test the defense. They have to think on every play about who might end up with the ball.
Now they'll throw it with Ryan.
And, he's unable to hold on to that defensively. A potential game changer, but it falls incomplete.
I think he's taking an awful chance with the football right there. You've got to lead, you've got to protect it, and he's taking chances putting it out there in a little bit of jeopardy.
Especially in a spot like this, fourth quarter, as you said, trying to cling to that advantage.
Yeah, that one probably should have been picked, huh?
From the gun on 3rd down, Ryan. And the throw there going to be incomplete. Critical play in this football game because if they pick up the first there, that clock keeps rolling.
Has to be a little frustrating for them because they know that if they pick up a first down there and continue to eat away at the clock, really increases their chances of closing this one out. Now they're likely going to have to give the football up and sweat it out on the sideline.
So possession goes over here on the punt, and the Lions will take over. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive.
Their defense was able to force the punt. That's the good news. But this is still a 2-score game, and they need points on this drive and in a relatively quick manner.
Not much there, only a yard. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means they have to run extra plays.
And the pressure getting to RG3. He's brought down for the sack. Grady Jarrett. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop it. The Lions on 3rd down. They've hit it 50%, 3 of 6 to this point. This will be a tough 3rd and 18. Toward the sideline. Did he keep the feet in? Yes, he got them both down, says the side judge. And that's good enough for a first down. And they're able to convert on 3rd with a solid gain of 23. On 1st and 10, it's Griffin.
He'll drop this one off to Swift.
And he goes out of bounds, it looks like right at the 50. They'll give him 8 on the play, and it's a 2nd down. Looked like a pretty good, safe play right there. No, he's had trouble with the interceptions in this game there. Hits his guy out in the flat.
Yeah, so many times we hear quarterbacks and offensive coordinators talk about in your progressions, you're either throwing the touchdown or you're throwing the check down. But earlier in the game, it was
touchdown, Detroit.
Well, he's been doing this for a lot of years with the arm strength still there, and he showed it off on that one.
Now the try here for the point after. And it's no good. Well, that could be a critical miss here in a one-score game in the 4th. So with the missed PAT in his rearview mirror, he goes back out to kick this one off. About set to begin their next drive, the Falcons offense at the line. After the touchdown we just saw, we have a brand new ball game. And now look at the situation. You got plenty of time on the clock. Defensively, they have 3 timeouts. So do you run the football here or do you throw it?
I think you have that full conversation with your offensive unit, and you tell them, here's the situation. They've got all their timeouts, so we are not going to play this conservatively. We've got to attack them. We've got to make them use those, gain the ground that we need in order to put this game away. If you think we're just going to run it 3 times and punt it, you got another thing coming.
Yeah, and by the way, also the 2-minute warning in play, so essentially 4 timeouts left.
They have to be aggressive here.
Clock continuing to run. They'll probably wind this all the way before snapping it on 2nd down. Here's Ryan to throw. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. This a very important drive, and that incompletion leads to a very important 3rd down here if they're going to try and get the football back.
Yeah, getting it back, absolutely crucial to their chances to try and win this game. I would expect a lot of pressure here. They can't afford to let them continue to get 1st downs and eat away at the clock.
He's got his man. It's Gallup. And now defensively they're going to burn their 1st timeout. Remember, they get an extra time built in coming up here shortly at the 2-minute warning. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. Sean Dion Hamilton was there to bring him down defensively. Seems pretty obvious defensively a key was stopping the run game. How have they done it so successfully?
To me, it seems that these guys really did a nice job of paying attention during the scouting report meeting. And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back, those are the ones you focus on and want to take away. And they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
So it's Falcon football as we welcome you back. So 2nd and 9, and you'd have to figure just about all 11 probably crashing the line here. Ryan. He completes it to Ridley. Touchdown, Falcons. Calvin Ridley, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Falcons look like they're going to get back in the win column as they extend their lead here in this 4th quarter. Koo able to connect on the extra point, and that pushes the lead up to 11. Following the touchdown, here's Koo to kick off. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline.
And the pressure getting to RG3. He's brought down for the sag. Grady Jarrett in there to drop him as that clock continues to run. Now Griffin. He's going to let it fly. He's got a man complete. The Lions now going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll get a chance to talk it over after picking up the 1st down. Here's Griffin. Pressure brought in, and the Falcons get there for the sack. Trent Murphy, he's the culprit, and that is now his 13th sack of the season as his great year continues. Griffin. And a quick throw here, that's complete. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down. So time runs out. It's a victory for the Atlanta Falcons. And I think the game balls need to be distributed on the defensive side of the football, and I bet that you would agree.
Yeah, if you hold a team under 10 points, that's a job well done. Really well done. So I would say game balls for every starter and every key player who participated in this game.
Now, see, I only like one game ball.
You're handing
out multiple, although I set you up by saying game balls, plural.
Yeah, but I like where we're going with this, though. You say one to represent, like the best player of all of that. And I say multiples so that you keep everyone motivated and involved.
You're a man of the people.
I'm a man of the people. I thought I was the only child.
You get a game ball, and you get a game ball. Game balls for everybody. So for the Falcons, the win moves them to 8-7 now on the year. And they'll hit the road next week to take on the Buffalo Bills. Meanwhile, for Detroit, and they'll be on the road next week as they get a date with the